they will make some nuisance. So they will control others' behavior. So sometimes those who are not performing better, they also control others' behavior. Sometimes top management also controls behavior of the employees. Then this communication also fosters motivation by clarifying to employees what is to be done. So you have to set that goal, either 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. You have to clarify, you have to motivate the employees. Then only they will work for your organization. You have to cross-check. So you have to form a specific goals. 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Then you have to give certain goals. Within 3 months you have to do this. Within 4 months you have to do this, like that. Then you have to give reinforcement of desired behavior and stimulate motivation and require communication. You have to cross-check the employees what they are doing. Then what can be done. Then what can be done to improve performance. And you have to set specific goals. You have to take feedback and progress toward the goals. So whether you have reached 3 months targets, whether you have reached your short-term goals and long-term goals. So you have to give continuous reinforcement of the desired behavior. Somebody doing good, then you have to give the reinforcement, saying very good, keep it up. You can use secondary reinforcement, salary hike or payment hike, promotions. Then you have to stimulate motivation and require communication. So in any social group, any work group, there will be social interaction between the students, between the employees. That will be done through effective communication. So communication that takes place within the group is a fundamental mechanism in any organization. So communication provides for the emotional expression of feelings and for fulfillment of social needs. Okay. What are the emotions we have? We have n number of emotions. Happy, anger, sad, bad, good, everything. So you have to express, you have to share your feelings, and through which you can fulfill your social needs by sharing your emotional feelings with others, other employees, co-workers. Then that is emotional expression. Then final function of the communication is information through which they can take decisions. They can make decisions by data that are available, and they will evaluate alternate choices. So every communication interaction that takes place in a group or organization performs one or more of these 4 functions. So we have discussed about there are 4 functions of communication, that is control, motivation, emotional expression, and information. In any organization, out of 4 functions, they will use 1 or 2 for their communication. So let us discuss about communication process. How this process will take place. So as earlier said that communication means message passes between the sender and receiver. So the message is encoded. It is sometimes converted to symbolic form, passed by way of some medium, some channel. Okay, for over a phone, you can communicate some message through over a phone. So your cell phone is medium. Sometimes some letters. So sender sends the message. They convert it into symbolic form, and they will pass through the medium channel to the receiver. What receiver will do? He or she will decode the message. What sender the message? So receiver has to decode that message. So the result of this transference of meaning from one person to another is called as a communication. So sender sends the message through a encoded form, and it will pass through the medium, that is channel, to the receiver. So receiver has to translate. He has to decode the message intended by the sender. This is called communication. So in page 128, they have given one diagram, that is sender sending the message. They have to encode. The message should be passed through message or medium, and receiver has to decode it, receive it, and he has to give response. Then he has to give feedback to the sender. So then only it is called as a communication process, effective communication process. So sender receives the message. So the message is, sometimes it is a physical product from the sender. Then sometimes you can send the speech as a message. Sometimes you can send the message through writing. Sometimes we send some message through our gestures, body movements, facial expressions. So the channel is the medium through which the message travels. Sometimes we use formal communication, sometimes we use informal channels. So in organization, they may use either formal or informal. Then some messages may be personal or social. Some messages will be formal, sometimes informal in an organization. So receiver receives the message, and he has to give response, feedback about that particular message. Then this communication chain will be over. Sender sends the message, encode, and it will pass it through the message or media. Receiver decode it, and he has to give response and feedback to the sender. So feedback is a check on how successful we have been transferring our messages as original intent. So it determines whether understanding has been achieved. If sender sends a message, if receiver gives correct response, feedback, then only we can say that it is a good communication, effective communication. Sometimes receiver may not understand that particular message means it is a bad communication. So in any organization, there are three types of communication process. That is downward communication, upward communication, lateral communication. Downward communication means communication flows from the one level group organization to lower level, so top order to top to bottom, from manager to low class employees. That is downward. So from upward to downward, it flows in a group or organization from top to lower level. That is downward communication. So in this downward communication, group leaders and managers will assign some goals. They provide job instructions. So they will inform employees of their policies and products, policy and procedures. So downward communication doesn't have to be oral or face-to-face contact. Sometimes some advisors, sometimes some leaves, sick leave policies can also be downward communication. Sometimes some reminders, some upcoming deadlines is also downward communication. So they may not be always oral or face to face. In downward communication, sometimes they can send the messages to employees, home advisors, then sick leave policies. You can use downward communication. Sometimes some reminders, then upcoming deadlines is also downward communication. This is about downward communication from top to bottom. Next one is upward communication. That is, the communication flows to a higher level in the group or organization from the lower level. Okay, you can take employees' feedback, employees' feelings about their jobs, about things of the co-workers. They can take the feedback from the low-class employees about the organization, its goals. So, through upward communication, you can take the ideas from the low class people or downward people. You can improve the things, what they are feeling, what they are not happy with, what are the aspects they are not happy with. So based on their feedback, based on their experiences, you can modify some changes in the organization performance. Sometimes performance reports prepared by the lower management for review by middle and top management. So you can use suggestion boxes, employee attitude surveys, grievance boxes, then sometimes superior subordinate discussions and informal discussions. So that is about upward communication. You are taking feedback, experiences, grievances from the lower classes. That is upward communication. So you can review their reports, performance reports prepared by the lower and middle class employees. You can use suggestion boxes. You can use employee attitude surveys, grievance boxes. Then sometimes interaction between the discussion between the superior and subordinates and informal lead. This is about upward communication. Then next one is lateral communication. So communication takes place among members of the same work group. It means communication between managers, communication between lower level people, communication between group leaders. So same order, same in hierarchy, same order. That is lateral communication. So this communication takes place among members of the same work group, among members of at the same level. That is a manager. Then sometimes equal personnel. This is communication called as a lateral communication. With the downward communication, top to bottom, upward communication, bottom to top, lateral means same level communication. That is among managers, among the same group. Then sometimes equivalent personnel. This is about lateral communication. Then we have interpersonal communication. What is interpersonal? Communicating with others. Intrapersonal means within yourself. Inter means when you communicate with others, other members of the same organization. That communication could be oral communication, written communication, non-verbal communication. In non-verbal communication, there will be facial expressions, so on and so forth. First one, oral communication means we are conveying some message through speech. It is oral communication. We are using speech. That is oral communication. Sometimes formal one-to-one and one and group discussions. You are giving instructions, message to one person. That is communication between one and one. Sometimes communication between one and group discussion. Okay, one person, then in a group discussion. That is oral communication. So the advantage of oral communication are speed and feedback. Okay, through oral communication, you can communicate very speed and immediately can get feedback from the other persons. So this verbal communication takes very minimum amount of time. In a short period, you can communicate whether an individual or a group. You can receive very positive feedback. You can receive feedback immediately, whether it is positive or negative. So you will get a rapid feedback, and sometimes you can early detect by the senders, and you can detect some faults. You can detect very easily, very rapidly. Based on the feedback, you can do corrections then and there itself. That is the advantage of oral communication. Then the disadvantage of oral communication is whenever the message has to be passed through a number of people. Okay, so some manager will send some message to next level, then next level likewise. Sometimes to person, the communication gets delayed. Sometimes the correct message may not be go in a proper way in an organization. That is a major disadvantage of this oral communication. So by passing through many members, the more people involved in the message transmission, sometimes the original message may not be reached to the last person. Okay, each member has to each member add something to the particular message. So the last receiver may not receive accurate message. That is the main disadvantage of this oral communication. Then next, written communication. Written communication includes memos, letters, fax, email, instant messages, then organization periodicals, notice boards, bulletin boards. So these are the different written words or symbols. So written communication, there are many types are there. That is memos, letters, fax, email, instant messages, then periodicals, notice boards, bulletin boards, then other written words or symbols. Nowadays, all organizations may have their own app. Schools, they are having their own app. Likewise, in any organization, they have their own WhatsApp group, teachers group, student group. Likewise, in organization, there is managers group, leaders group, so on and so forth. So through this written communication, you can communicate to the employees in a proper way. So these written communications are more likely to be well thought of, logical and clear, because we are using memos, letters, fax, emails, instant messages, periodicals, notice boards, bulletin boards, and other written words or symbols through which you can communicate clear, logical thoughts. So this written communication also got some drawbacks. So sometimes they are time consuming. They will take a lot of time preparing memos, sending letters, sending fax, sending emails, instant messages. It will take a lot of time. So instead of written communication, you can communicate through the oral communication. Sometimes you can give oral instructions about the oral exam rather than oral written exam. So writing may be more precise. Sometimes for writing it is also time consuming activity. So the other major disadvantage is feedback. So through written communication, you may not get immediate feedback. It will take some time. So this is the major disadvantage of this written communication. Then non-verbal communication. Non-verbal means non-language. You are not using any language. That is non-verbal communication. Verbal means oral. You are using language. Here non-verbal means no language. Without using any language. By giving your body movements, okay, so which you can communicate with others. It includes this non-verbal communication includes body movements, the intonations or emphasis we give to the words, facial expressions, physical distance between the sender and receiver. These are all the non-verbal communication. So body movements has a meaning and no movement is accidental sometimes. So you can't say everything through non-verbal communication or through your body language. The most important message that body language convey are the extent to which an individual likes another is interest in his or her views. The relative perceived status between the sender and receiver. These are non-verbal communication. Body language. This body language conveys this these two messages. So sometimes only body language can't work. You have to communicate verbal communication. You have to use some sounds. You have to use your body position or movement. So there won't be any record of non-verbal communication. So the emphasis given to words or phrases is missing. Oh, here without using any language, it won't be recorded anywhere. That is the disadvantage of this non-verbal communication. Then facial expression, it also conveys some meaning. Then sometimes physical distance, it also got some meaning. They are the different interpersonal communication. Then organization communication. in organizational communication, there is internal or organizational communication, external communication, functions of internal and external communication. First, we'll discuss about internal and organizational communication. So this communication is within an organization. This is internal, within the organization. You can use face-to-face, you can use telephone, fax or mail. You can use this internal or organizational communication. You can interact, you can use internet in an organization. So internal and organizational communication you can use. It is a communication within the organization. You can use face-to-face, telephone, fax or mail. This is about internal or organizational communication. Second one is external communication. External means outside. It is communication between the organization and those outside the organization. Okay. It is external communication between the organization and outside the organization. So communication with customers, e-commerce. Communication with the other business through the internet or similar system. It is e-business. It is external communication. So your organization communicating with their customers, outside customers through e-commerce. Okay. Now we are doing many e-commerce. Okay. Amazon, Flipkart, and Swiggy, and many apps. Ola, Uber also. That is example for the external communication. Then functions of internal and external communication. So how they function? External communication through letters, fax, mail, internet, video, telephone, advertisement, websites. This is external communication. Internal communication, team briefing, notices, reports, memos, face-to-face, email. So this is functions of internal and external communication. Then formal and informal communication. Formal communication is the communication which occurs through the official organization channels undertaken by employee to do their job. That is formal way. It is official organization channels. That is formal communication. Then informal means informal communication is that which occurs outside the recognized communication networks, such as talking in the lunchroom or halfway between employees. Okay. So formal communication means using official organizational channels. Informal means during lunch hours, during tea time, to may communicate with others. That is informal communication. So informal communication can be productive or negative sometimes, because it is not formal, no. So nobody takes it serious. Whereas formal communication means it is official. Everybody will take serious about the formal communication. So that is why informal communication can be sometimes productive or sometimes negative. Sometimes it has builds teams. Sometimes it improves working relationships and generate ideas, and employees are in a relaxed environment because there is no fixed, there is no official this thing. So in informal also, it can do wonders. They can through informal communication also, it can potential to build teams, improve working relationship, and generate ideas. And employees are relaxed environment. So formal small group networks. Small group means less members in the group. Okay. As per the OB is concerned, small groups work more effective manner when compared to large group. Okay, then this in a small groups, that is people operation people are more hierarchical levels. Okay, so they will have simple discussions. They will have their own networks. Then they will divide the group into 3 or more small groups or 5 people in each group. So the 3 networks are the chain. Okay. So it has got chain, wheel and all channel. So with these 3 small groups, they will communicate all employees through these different channels. So the chain is, they have made a chain, that is formal chain of command. Okay, they will give some messages, some commands. So everybody in that particular channel or chain will follow the same. Then next one is grapevine. So that is formal one. The grapevine is informal one. This informal one called as a grapevine. So grapevine may be informal. Informal, this doesn't mean that it is not an important source of information. Sometimes some survey about the organization, about the employees' effectiveness, about the employees' job satisfaction. So through grapevine, through informal way also, you can get some information, some authentic information from the employees, which we can work as a management based on the feedback, based on the survey report. They will work furthermore. So this grapevine have main 3 characteristics. That is, this is not controlled by the management, and most employees are being more believable and reliable than formal communication issued by the top management. Third one is self-interest of the people within the grapevine. It is informal way, but it is more, it gives more believable and reliable information when compared to formal communication. Then it can be used to serve the self-interest of the people within the group. So this informal events of general interest tended to flow between the major function groups. Then computer-aided communication. Nowadays we are living in a communication technology world. We use emails, instant messaging, intranet and extranet links, video conferencing, knowledge management. First we discuss about emails. It is electronic mail. You can use internet to transmit and receive computer generated text and documents. Its growth has been respectable. So all white collar employees now regularly use emails. This is about electronic mail. So common belief is that people are being swarmed with the emails, and recent study found that majority of workers have access to the email at work. Okay, it is very common nowadays. Everybody uses this email in organization, whatever it may be. Without emails, no organization is there, no organization functions. So communication today organization is enhanced by the enriched by computer technologies, that is electronic mail, instant messages, internet and extranet links. So now, because of this computer communication only, we can interacting with you through Zoom app. Otherwise, we would have met, we would have in a face-to-face process. So that is the main advantage of emails. Then instant messaging. So it is not just for teenagers anymore. Instant messaging, which has been popular among teens for more than a decade, is now rapidly moving into business also. So instant messaging is essentially really real-time email. Employees create a list of colleagues and friends with whom they want to communicate. Then they just click on the name displayed in the small box on their computer screen, type in a message, and message instantly pops up the recipient screen. Okay, so you can create group, whether list of colleagues, friends, whom do you want to communicate. So simply type the message and send it to group. That is instant message. So previously, teenagers may use this instant message, but it has rapidly moving into business for their expansion. Then intranet and extranet links. Intranet are private, organization-wide information and networks that look and act like a website, but to which only people and organization have access. So in an organization, you have there will be passwords for everything. Okay, you can use within that organization, you can access. Afterwards, you have to log out from the system. That is internets. So this internet is also rapidly becoming a popular means of employees within companies to communicate with each other. That is intranets. Then extranets means they connect internal employees with selected suppliers, customers, and strategic partners. So extranet allows general managers, employees to send electronic messages and documents to its steel and rubber suppliers as well as to communicate with its dealers. Okay, so through extranet you can send a message to electronic messages and sometimes documents to other suppliers and sometimes